Welcome to What Would You Choose? Your daily dose of fun choices. Giraffe versus cow. Which one has a longer neck? The answer is giraffe. Rocket versus flying saucer. Which one goes to space? The answer is rocket. Pizza versus pancakes. Which one usually has cheese? The answer is pizza. Balloon versus door. Which one floats in the air? The answer is balloon. Gorilla versus monkey. Which one is bigger in size? The answer is gorilla. Duck versus hen. Which one swims? The answer is duck. Ice cube versus fire. Which one is cold? The answer is ice cube. Birthday cake versus juice box. Which one has candles on it? The answer is birthday cake. Climber versus cyclist. Which one climbs mountains? The answer is climber. Shark versus fish. Which one has sharp teeth? The answer is shark. Juice versus water. Which one has flavor? The answer is juice. Bat versus bird. Which one is nocturnal? The answer is bat. Needle and thread versus scissors. Which one is used for sewing? The answer is needle and thread. Airplane versus car. Which one flies in the sky? The answer is airplane. Frog versus snake. Which one jumps? The answer is frog. Soap versus salt. Which one is used for cleaning? The answer is soap. Sunglasses versus glasses. Which one protects from sunlight? The answer is sunglasses. Apple versus strawberry. Which one is bigger? The answer is apple. Island versus mountain. Which one is surrounded by water? The answer is island. Teddy bear versus bed. Which one is a toy? The answer is teddy bear. Sled versus canoe. Which one is used on snow? The answer is sled. Camel versus buffalo. Which one lives in the desert? The answer is camel. Moon versus sun. Which one comes out at night? The answer is moon. Test tube versus book. Which one is used in science labs? The answer is test tube. Trumpet versus drum. Which one do you blow into? The answer is trumpet. Tornado versus wave. Which one is made of wind? The answer is tornado. Penguin versus sparrow. Which one cannot fly? The answer is penguin. Juice box versus milk glass. Which one is usually in a box? The answer is juice box. Ice cream versus sandwich. Which one melts? The answer is ice cream. Lobster versus shrimp. Which one is bigger in size? The answer is lobster. Kite versus yo-yo. Which one flies in the air? The answer is kite. Chick versus duckling. Which one becomes a hen when it grows up? The answer is chick. Brain versus heart. Which one helps you think? The answer is brain. Christmas tree versus pumpkin. Which one is used in December? The answer is Christmas tree. Dinosaur versus brontosaurus. Which one has a long neck? The answer is brontosaurus. Magnet versus battery. Which one attracts metal? The answer is magnet. Cookie versus donut. Which one usually has a hole in the middle? The answer is donut. Spider versus bee. Which one spins webs? The answer is spider. Cactus versus tree. Which one grows in the desert? The answer is cactus. Juice box versus juice bottle. Which one has a straw? The answer is juice box. Train versus helicopter. Which one runs on tracks? The answer is train. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe Scene Doll Kids for more. Would you rather quizzes like that?